Alright, welcome to another IMFAT32 computer build. Now this build is going to be my video editing PC. The case started out life as one of these Lenovo J105s. I have at least 4 of these sitting around. And this is the board that came out of it, just the Elite Group Computer Systems K8 M800 M2 version 1. And I put in this Intel desktop board. Where's the sticker on this one? It's probably right in front of me. I know it's on here somewhere. Alright, oh yeah, there it is. It's a DG41TY. Socket 775 Core 2 Duo board, and it's got a 3 GHz Core 2 dual core. I forget the exact model of the chip, but I'm just using the crappy stock cooler because that's what came with it, and I don't really feel like buying another one. It's got 4 gigs of DDR2 RAM. It's got this PCI Express 16X slot, PCI Express 1X, and 2 PCI slots, both of which will be populated, and so will that. It supports a serial port that I can plug in to a header on the motherboard and put out the back, but I probably won't be using that. And it does have parallel PS2, VGA, DVI, 4 USB ports, 10100 Ethernet, and of course just the Realtek sound chip. This is the back of the case, in case anyone cares. It's just a mini ATX case, or a micro ATX, I forget which is which. I've just got a 90mm Foxconn fan that came with the J105, IDE DVD burner that came with the J105, a SATA DVD burner. It's just a lucky gold star drive, that I had. This will eventually be upgraded to a SATA drive too, but right now I'm going to leave the IDE drive in it. It's just got the Hitachi Deskstar that came with the J105. It still works. It's a 250GB drive, so I'm going to continue to use it. This board does still support floppy. However, there's only one 3.5-inch bay, and I'm going to have to put a card reader in that to read my camera's memory card, so I cannot put a floppy drive in this, which is actually quite disappointing. The power supply is a light on, what the hell wattage is it? 240 watts. It's a pretty well built unit. The other power supply I had laying around was this piece of crap. This came out of a InWin case. It's a Powerman brand, model number IPS350AQ2, and it's supposed to be a 350 watt power supply, but this thing is so light. You know, it may be a good unit, but I really don't trust it. It does have a big fan, apparently a very dusty one, because I just touched myself with it and left it in print of the fan grill. Yes, it does have a 120mm fan on it. That doesn't make it good, though. Wow. Alright, so some of the modifications I'm going to be making, I've already done some, obviously, that I've showed you. But I'm going to be putting one of these Foxconn 90mm fans in the front of the case to keep this piece of crap cool. I'm going to be adding this very crappy ATi card. It's only got 120 megs of memory. I don't remember the model on that. I'm going to be putting this El Cheapo Planet wire networking and communication wireless LAN PCI adapter with a D-Link antenna. I'm going to be putting this in. I got this out of a Dell that I scrapped, and I'll be putting in this WinTV by Hoppage 26552 card, which is just a TV tuner card, which I'm going to be using for video capture. And of course, I'll be putting in the card reader for my main computer because it won't need it anymore. So, I will install these and I'll be right back. Alright, so here's the video editing PC all put together. On the front, there's of course the 2 optical drives and the card reader. Looks a little funny without the bezels on there, but I don't have a bezel for the card reader because, quite frankly, I don't think such a thing exists. And I do have bezels for these. However, it looks strange missing this one, so I'll go ahead and leave them all off for now. So here's the front of the case in case no one's seen it before. Originally had an Athlon 64 3200 plus in it, and it was designed for Windows XP. Now here on the inside, here's just a view of the finished system. Power supply, optical drives, hard drive, card reader up in there. Card reader's plugged into the USB header down here on the motherboard. Of course, there's the expansion cards right there. The video card, the PCI Wi-Fi card, and of course the TV tuner. And here's the back of the system. Yeah, you've got this D-Link antenna on here. It's not the right one for this card, but screws on just fine, so it should work. Back of the video card, there's VGA out, S-video out, and composite video out. On the back of this Wi-Fi card, there's just the antenna and the light. On the TV tuner card, there's FM radio in, TV cable in, S-video in, composite video in, and of course your audio jacks. And you've seen the back of the motherboard already. There's that fan I put in the front, and it just pulls air through the bottom of the case here and through these side vents. And this is an intake fan, and of course there's an exhaust fan here, and the power supply acts as an exhaust fan, so we should not have any ventilation issues. And yeah, in case anyone's wondering, the card reader came out of my main computer, which is this. Actually, I'll just put this down and go ahead. Put my main computer on the bed here. Oh, what was that? Come on. Ow. So here's my main computer. On the front, it's just a generic in-win case. That it was originally a Core 2 Duo system assembled by Titan Systems, which is a local computer shop. Of course, I've got my SATA LG LightScribe DVD RW drive. I have lots of these drives. They all work well. I also have IDE and SATA versions. Of course, all real computers have a floppy drive, and this is where the card reader was. Of course, there's the power button, power LED, and hard drive LED below it. Front panel I/O, nothing special. I don't think the FireWire is hooked up, but this board does support FireWire. In fact, it's got FireWire on the back and a FireWire header on the motherboard, but for some reason it's not connected. I'll do that at a later date. Power supply is an El Cheapo in-win power supply that came with the case. Of course, there's the optical drive up in there. I actually like this case. It's pretty sturdy. Very well built. So one of the reasons I use this case. Originally I was going to use this case over here, which is identical to the Windows 2000 build case. However, I cannot mount 3.5-inch drives in it because it uses some stupid proprietary mounting system. And that's just a 300-watt power supply. However, I would not trust it to load it to 350 watts because something bad would probably happen. Of course, there's the floppy drive. This motherboard does support floppy and IDE still, which is nice. Of course, there's the hard drive. I think it's a Western Digital 2500. In fact, it is. You probably won't be able to see that, but trust me, that's what it is. And this one's old enough to still have the Molex connector on it, so one of these days I'll have to upgrade that. 4 gigs of DDR2 RAM. And this is a ATi Radeon HD2600. Dual DVI and NS video out. I can have dual monitors with this, but I just don't, because it's not the best graphics card in the world, and driving 2 monitors isn't probably ideal. Of course, it's a 90mm fan on the back. Stock Intel heatsink, because that's what's on it. Motherboard has... Oh yeah, the motherboard. It's an Intel desktop board DG35EC, if I remember correctly. There's a shot of the board there. Certainly not the most modern thing in the world. It's got a 3 GHz Core 2 Duo on it, socket 775. But hey, it's good enough for what I do with it. It's got a PCI Express 16X slot, 2 PCI Express 1X slots, and only 1 PCI slot. Which I wish there was more, but hey, what can you do? On the back of the case, you have our power supply, El Cheapo, motherboard, all the connections, of course PS2 legacy ports, gotta have my PS2 peripherals, VGA out and DVI out. I don't use the onboard video though because it's crap. 6 USB 2.0 ports, 10100 Ethernet, Firewire, and of course your sound card. And that's about it for this. So, more on that later. Alright, so this is part 2 of the video editing PC build. As you can see, I've assembled it further. I've got these drive bezel things in place, and the card reader is right there, hidden away behind this blank. As you can see, it's not meant for a card reader because it's too far back to really grab the card, and it's got this thing for the eject button that would be on a floppy drive, but I'm making an old case work here, so yeah. We're going to be putting Windows 7 Ultimate 64-bit on there. I'm not going to show the rest of the disk because there's a product key on it. So let's go ahead and start the system up. This will be the first start after putting in all these upgrades, so let's see what happens. Alright, so install Windows 7 on the SATA drive here. I'm just gonna turn away because of my product key. Now, on you. After Control, delete it. This thing takes forever to post. There it's going. It's reading the disk. Those red LED is pretty dim. I wonder why that is. This other drive works, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, absolutely it does. This will be a while, so I'll be back once Windows is installed. So this is part 2 of the video editing PC video, and I finally got Windows installed and I have it set up here. This here is my main computer, as you can see right there. And this is the keyboard, and that's the mouse for my main computer. And for the video editing PC, I just have this wireless HP keyboard and mouse. And there's the receiver underneath the monitor there. And this monitor appears for the video editing PC. So we'll go right ahead and turn that on. I'll fire up this bad boy. sits a card reader behind that. I just have it covered up like that for now. By the way, I swapped the LEDs and the power switch in this case for better ones that had a more standardized header connection out of another case, so they're a little more modern and the switch is clickier now. Feels better. And as you can see, we're in Windows. Doesn't take long to start it all. Alright, so let's check the specs. Intel Core 2 Duo. It's an E8400 at 3 GHz, dual core of course. 4 gigs of RAM, Windows 7 64-bit. This computer has identical specs, except it has a graphics card of course, and it's only got 32-bit Windows on it for whatever reason. I still gotta activate it. I have the same background on both, I never bothered to change it. But anyway, I've got them bridged together with this. I have this D-Link hooked up to my main computer and I have it bridged from the Ethernet ports. So I am able to go on the internet. Let's just launch Chrome here. And there we go. So this is the video editing PC all hooked up, and this video will be uploaded and edited on this computer. I'll just put the card in there and ready to go. Alright, thank you for watching, and feel free to leave a comment if you have one.